Hello, my name is Jorgelina Perez. I've been a consultant here in Autologica DMS for more than 15 years now. Autologica is a DMS, specific system designed for vehicles dealers, for truck dealers, motorcycles, and also agricultural machinery dealers. Today we are going to discuss management of the service department with 7 key performance indicators, KPIs, in order to increase or try to increase the gross profit of the dealer. We are going to record this session, and you have a section called questions where you can type any request you have, and we'll be stopping at several points of the course in order to read the questions and give you feedback. Okay, so let's start. Let me tell you also that afterwards you will receive the video of the presentation, and also if you requested the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, owners and managers of dealers are constantly bombarded by data. They get information from several different sources, and many times it's very difficult to know what's important and what's not between all those numbers and figures. So on this meeting, we are going to try to define 7 key performance indicators and help you manage better your service department, and also see you grow and get a better profit out of it. We are going to see how to quickly calculate and interpret those KPIs. Also identify the health of the sales team in your service department. And the most important issue, implement strategies to change those numbers, capturing sales at services more than you have right now. So we're going to see the KPIs, quantify, analyze, and afterwards change with an action. Number 1 KPI, it's customer pay maintenance penetration. The goal of this KPI is to check if our service advisors sell maintenance services. This measures the health of your service sales team. The math is maintenance services, overall maintenance services, over total customer pay ROs. When we see ROs on this presentation, we are referring to repair orders, okay? For example, if you have 1,000 ROs and for the same time period, you have 275 maintenance services, that gives you a 27.5%. That's your KPI. That's your customer pay maintenance penetration. Why do we say that this measures the health? Because the number 1 job of the service advisor is to sell. So without increasing the repair order number, without having more cars on your garage, you can increase the labor by RO, the quantity of jobs that we perform by RO, and this KPI is already getting better. So what we have to do about this? How do we improve? We have to train the service advisors to take strategic questions when they interview the customer in order to sell more, especially when receiving the vehicle and also when taking the service appointment. So we keep the same number of ROs, we sell more jobs per RO, and we see this indicator growing. One idea to do this is to design a program where each technician or service advisor that helps you sell an additional hour of labor can take out a ticket from a box. This box, for example, could contain 2 bonuses of 1,000. You have to take this into the values of your own country, of course. 4 bonuses of 500, 6 of 2000, sorry, 200. And as you see right there on the screen, it's a total cost of 7,600. So if the labor price it's 850, and with these special bonuses, you get to sell 60 hours additional to the hours of the month, you get an extra income of this amount, $51,000, or as we said before, take it to your own currency. But this is very interesting. We should be implementing this, taking into account that the way of payment and the deductibles and all that depend on the legislation of each country. We just get one ticket by a row, no matter how many extra hours we get to sell. And also the technician or the service advisor that made the sale is the one that should perform the job, or also have someone ready, someone who is capable of performing that job. If not, we will be selling things that no one has time to complete. So this is an idea to try to sell more different jobs into the same quantity of ROs we get through our workshop. In Autologica, we can help you set up how many jobs per RO you have right now and see if that is being increased by getting this report directly from a management service management module, service recap by workshop. Also, not to depend only on the service advisors or the technicians, we can increase the service sales using service marketing. What we do in Autologica with service marketing is we calculate the approximate date of the next maintenance services, taking into account the odometer reading, the interval since the last service, and we generate through our CRM an appointment to call the customer, try to retain the customer into our service department. So we create automatically these service opportunities. We call the customer and get the appointment. So you don't rely solely on the service advisors. Okay, number 2 KPI, overall shop work mix. In order to analyze how to sell, and in order to sell those jobs that have the biggest margin, we need to focus on the situations that as dealers we can control and those that we can't control. So the goal of this KPI is to see if they've been trained to do that. The idea is to analyze, for example, in the case of internal repair orders, are those controlled by fate or controlled by our selling skills? This is definitely controlled by fate. We need to generate pre-delivery services. We need to redo some jobs that we didn't perform correctly on the first time. So it's basically controlled by fate. Warranties. For the warranties, is the same. We are basically attending those vehicles that had any issues paid by the warranty of the OEM, so we have nothing to do there. But in the case of customer ROs, we can control the situation as service advisors, as technicians, in order to sell more than the customer came to do. So we do not depend on the customer to come to our workshop. We make him or her come by giving a very good service. This overall shop work mix is important to have in mind. We can get the report directly in Autologica from Executive Information Reports, Others, Service and Parts Summary. In this case, what we are going to get is the percentage. For example, internal ROs 35%, 36, warranty 14%, and customer 47%. So in the overall mix, we have more customer ROs. That's good. But regarding the 36% internal, for example, what are we doing? It's quite high. So are we doing rectifications, those jobs that we didn't do well on the first time? Are we working solely on pre-delivery services for sales? And in that case, how much do we charge sales per hour? Because we could be using those hours to sell to customer by a different price. What we see here, thanks to the report, is that it doesn't add up to 100% until we add those arrows that have mixed charges. Since in Autologica you can have only one arrow and charge labor and parts to different types, one for customer, one for warranty, for example. Number 3 KPI is customer pay work mix. So here, following the spirit of the previous KPI, what we do is we analyze the composition of the hours we know we sell to the customer. So we will be analyzing in the example before the 42% we are selling to the customer. We are going to calculate how many hours we perform oil change over the total hours, how many repair hours, and how many maintenance hours. This allows us to aim for those jobs that have the higher profitability. Also, we can train the technicians in order to upgrade the quantity, for example, of repair hours. And also analyze if there's a specific labor that we are not performing, we probably take it to a third-party garage, and those jobs maybe should be performed in our workshop. So we can get that customer pay work mix by getting a service report on management, service recap by workshop. These reports in Autologica you can define by dealer, by store, by workshop, and also who is paying for the job. So if we just click on customer, that will give us the information we need for this KPI. For example, if we get the information and we see that we have 460 arrows that we perform repairs, 105 maintenance, and 235 preventive maintenance. From a total of 800 arrows. Repairs means we do what the customer came to do. They crashed on the street, they had a problem, an accident, and we repair the vehicle. We should concentrate on preventive maintenance and maintenance. So the example we gave before about calling the customer and remind him or her of the next maintenance service helps us improve that percentage. So what should we do to improve those ratios? Always try to have more than one job on the row. Use a DMS, Autologica in this case, to define types of jobs. So whenever you are invoicing or performing repair, those job types can help you get this information right away. And commercially, as we said before, we have to aim for those jobs that have the higher profitability. For the fourth KPI, called overall shop efficiency, the idea or the goal of this KPI is to define if technicians are being efficient. The efficiency helps dealers get a higher profitability. That's what we aim with each of these KPIs. The idea is to calculate invoiced hours over clocked hours. Clocked hours are the number of technicians we have per hour per week. For example, if we have 4 technicians working 40 hours a week, we have 160 clock hours. We divide 100 flag hours over 160 clock hours, and we get a 62% efficiency. In Autologica, we have that already calculated on the management report, service recap technician performance. And in order to improve this KPI, you should register the time you spent on each RO. So for that, we suggest the use of a job clock to get that information straight into your DMS and get the report ready by the end of the month. This is the report we can get. And what do we do in order to improve efficiency? We have to use tools first to make automatic the loading of the quantity of hours, how many job hours, clocked hours, invoiced hours. This can make the process more efficient. You should also spend more time training your technicians. The more they know, the easier it will be to perform the service. And also make a habit of measuring everything that is happening on the shop. We shouldn't have to work harder. We have to work better. So if we get trained, if we gain expertise, also having the right tools. Many times we don't have the right tools, and and technicians should spend more, not so long on some specific jobs if they had the equipment they need. The fifth KPI we're going to see is effective labor rate. The goal here is to have a real outlook of the hourly profitability of the shop. So how we calculate this? Labor dollars over hours worked. For example, if we have 1,000 labor revenue and we have 20 hours clocked, that's the $50 effective labor rate. This KPI should be compared with the price per hour of the labor. The price we have defined on our DMS for 1 hour of labor to customer. Or internal, we can do it by several different charges too. This helps us redefine the price so we don't go below the cost. In Autologica, our service recap by workshop has a specific column to show the effective labor rate already calculated by different charges too. The sixth KPI we're going to see is the gross profit of labor. Gross profit is increased by building value and not by lowering prices. That should be the goal of calculating this KPI. What we do is we compare sales and we subtract the cost of sales. The invoice value of labor sales is easy to get. It's the labor cost that causes confusion sometimes. Some people assume that the gross profit is labor sales minus the technician total salary. That should be the hours you bought from the technician. However, if this were the case, the idle time wouldn't be reported. You should have no expense showing rectification. As we said, those jobs you perform several times, holidays, sickness, leaves, etc. So all the operational efficiency would be incorrect. So getting this KPI correct is critical for a successful analysis. This is an example. We have $75 in labor sales and $22 in labor cost. That is 53 my labor gross profit, and the margin is 70%. In Autologica, we show already calculated this gross margin by service and by some other business units in our business intelligence dashboard. But you also get reports in order to calculate it yourself. The seventh and last KPI, it's parts to labor ratio. The goal of this KPI is to learn if the business depends on part sales, on labor sales, or a mix between both of them. So what we do to calculate this is to take part sales over labor sales. For example, in America, the benchmark is zero point 0.8 to 1. So we should sell $0.8 in parts by each dollar we sell of labor. For example, if we have this amount, 485,000 part sales and 285,000 labor sales, the ratio, the parts to labor ratio, is 1.7 to 1. We also get in Autologica calculated this already on what we call a Wake, a web tool that helps you track money leaks and opportunities regarding different areas of the dealer. What we have to take into account here is that the margin we apply to parts that are sold by workshop is limited, mainly because it's defined by how you purchase those parts and also by the market. On the other hand, by playing the sales card, you may say, our service advisors can add jobs to the RO. So the aim here is try not to open the RO just for the jobs that the customer wanted and came to do. So some techniques to try to sell any other repair on the same order is, for example, to ask the customer to buy by asking, may we perform this service for you today? Or even showing something that is not working properly and asking, how do you think we ought to proceed about this? So we should increase these parts to labor ratio in order to succeed. Well, I hope you enjoyed the 7 KPIs we defined today. Calculating those and afterwards getting information and trying to define politics in order to improve them, it's the right way to go. We are going to leave you with some advices we saw successful dealers implement. One is, for example, when you think of cars sales meetings, how often do you see them take place in your dealer? Once a week, twice a week? Why don't we use the same technique for the sales, for the service sales? We should have meetings for the service sales. Any techniques, any improvements, we should be applying them not only to selling cars, but also to selling services. Also, we should use any system that will allow us to measure, know where we're standing, and then help us improve and take advantage of anything we can in order to try to sell more. And also, then this is very important, KPIs are very important, but as Dave Anderson states on his book, How to Lead by the Book, we shouldn't confuse the scoreboard for the game. So you cannot lead effectively if you become obsessed with numbers while you ignore daily behaviors within your culture. So the numbers in your organization are a result of your culture. This is because culture dictates behaviors and behaviors determine results. So I hope you have enjoyed our presentation. If you have any questions, you are welcome to ask them right now through the questions option. And remember that we are going to contact everybody that has registered to this online course in order to get the link to the video of this presentation. And any doubts you have, if you need to contact us, you have there our email, at autologica.com, and our phone number also. So if you don't have any questions, I thank you for your time, and we'll meet again on the next Autologica course. Thank you for your time again. Bye bye.